With homegrown brands, it's more about collaboration than competition.
The most sold item currently in the streetwear market is t-shirts. We do not make t-shirts.
There's no competition. We all are, in a way, with each other.
I don't think we can be better than one another, but we can be different than one another.
So I'm going to start with the first question, which is, how did all of y'all stumble upon the names of your labels? Because they're also unique and they sort of stand out. So how did you do that? We'll start with you, Dhruv.
Hi guys, I'm Dhruv. I'm the creative director of Almost Gods. In college, I wrote my dissertation on Kanye West, and I was kind of talking about how Kanye was setting up Afrocentric futurity, which is so different than a white futurity that we kind of all listen to. And while writing my paper, I sort of described him somewhere as almost gods. And I think that word, the name just stuck with me, and it felt so exciting. So I want to build on that idea.
What about you, Anchit?
So in reality, there are two things you need to be very sure of before keeping your brand name. One is obviously the emotion of the brand, what it resonates with, and second is, guys, you need to get a .com. So be very careful. Search it online, check it out. Don't just go batshit crazy and get your domains and keep your brand name, and then you can't get it legalized, and then you get into problems. So I think that's the most important thing you need to take care of before keeping your brand name.
What about you, Vaishnavi?
So my name's Vaishnavi Bala. Hi guys. And I wanted my brand to be something around my name because my brand's basically a reflection of who I am. So Balav is actually a play around Vaishnavi Bala, and I was really confused about it initially. But one of my friends was like, Balav sounds cool because initially it was supposed to be Balavi, which is kind of lame. So that's how we came up with Balav.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool name. What about you, Urvash?
I think she covered it pretty much in the introduction. So now earlier Kuship's brand was called Warp and mine was called Pro Anti Theory. We merged both of those names and it got to Warping Theories.
But why anti-theory?
So Pro Anti Theory basically is antithesis was my original concept where we worked with a lot of contradictions and hypocrites and like two basically opposite things working together in synergy. So that was the initial idea, and now if we come to the current situation, that's what we're still doing. I think we take wearable stuff and put like some edgy element over it, making you look cool and comfortable and like safe at the same time.
Okay, so with the influx of competition in today's time, especially with the digital age and social media giving visibility to so many homegrown brands, how is it that you all make sure that your brand has more visibility and it stands out as something different? I mean, with Dhruv, for you especially, I think Almost God does so much storytelling. So I think that's such a amazing thing for me. Personally, I love it.
Okay, so I really don't think there's competition yet. Like, super nascent market, blue ocean, like everyone coming in is a first-time player. India's a billion-person population. We're catering to a 100 million person audience. We are like, we're not competing with each other to stand out. I think we're all kind of creating our own individual creative output. And the way that I think if you are trying to stand out, the goal is to differentiate. Like, I don't think we can be better than one another, but we can be different than one another. And that's the main value prop that we can basically sell.
I think
I mean, of course, having the Asia's largest sneaker wall helps.
sneakers are obviously a part of it, and that's a crowd attraction. But the real USP is obviously the brands and the apparel and the products that these guys are creating. And I believe it's not about competition, as Dhruv rightly said here, that it's about all of us coming together and believing in something and having our own different ways to tell the story. And I think everybody's doing that in their own capacity and killing it. And what we do is we believe that this is the crew and we need this crew to come together and for people to see it, and that's why Crepdog Crew comes in. So for us, it's always been a vision that that Indian people are the most talented bunch of nationality globally, and India is one of the biggest garment manufacturing countries. It's production capable. So it was just a matter of time that all the brands come up, and this becomes this is, as he said, it's a nascent stage, and it's going to like go at least 1,000x from here. So there's no competition. We all are in a way with each other, supporting each other behind the scenes.
Well, I think that's. Can I expect like a collaboration between you guys?
Like for people in products, we don't know. Anything can happen, but as friends, we always are on calls with each other.
Vaishnavi, what about you? I think, like everyone already mentioned, with homegrown brands, it's more about collaboration than competition. And with brands, it comes in, like with me, especially my brand is a lot to do with story, and it's something that comes within, like, it's like a personal story. So that's what my name comes from. Apart from that, everything that I create comes from an inspiration around my daily life. So even if someone's trying to replicate it, you'll find a lot of cargo pants, you'll find a lot of shirts, but everyone has their own personal touch to it, and that's what makes it different, and that's what's important. So there are days when I'm like in such a creative block, I can't create, and Anchit's my mentor. And so it's such a struggle because these days it's like, okay, where do I get my inspiration from? I can't just look at somebody else's work and like pick it up and make it mine. It's not difficult to do that as a designer, but that's not something that your design self allows you to do. So I think that's what's important.
And Kuship and Urvash, what about you guys?
I think for us, if you see the most sold item currently in the streetwear market is t-shirts. We do not make t-shirts.
We really get t-shirts. Although we've tried a lot, but we've
And if you
tried a lot into t-shirts.
and if you see everyone on this panel is high fashion, fashion heavy pieces. We've all come with one motive to put India as the front runner in the high street fashion market. Having such resources, I think it should have been a piece of cake for the people in the past, but no one, there's not a single brand from India that operates globally in the high street fashion market. And I think we all came with that, we all took that challenge upon us, and I think that's going to be our vision for the future, putting India as the front runner.
It has a lot to do with products as well as the quality that the brand is trying to provide, right? I mean, it's not just about marketing all the time. There are products as well which would speak for itself rather than you marketing it down. So for me, it's always been like the products are way better in terms of the quality and the fit. Then that is when the products will speak. And you really don't need marketing for that. Because you've got all the eyes on the brands and the products as well already.
Well, how important is it for you to build a distinct brand identity?
I think that's what is the USP of what homegrown streetwear is categorized as these days, because that's what differentiates it from the fast fashion industry. There is no storytelling, there is no differentiator there except for the brand names itself. But here, like if we talk about homegrown, Balav, and walking theories, they all are telling their own story in a different way, and they all have their own audience. And there would be someone out there like who would have a piece from each of them. I have, like I'm that guy. I own better from all of them. I'm pretty much wearing the shirt made by Walking Theories, the pants made by Balav, t-shirt I made. Dhruv wasn't available, so sorry guys.
I think what we do fundamentally is a non-essential business. Like fashion is not really needed. But then that's the same argument for any creative output. So end of the day, what are we selling? Right? It's with creating, like the problem almost gods is selling is the lack of almost gods in your closet. Like that's what I'm solving. And so it's very much about a creative output that you're creating, and it's saying that ultimately a brand is a personality. It's the stores we build, the symbols we use, the colors we associate, the stories we tell. It's all about associating personality. So why should you buy Oxford? Why should you buy any of the brands over here? Because you're associating yourself with the story that they signify. So brand is fundamentally everything. You can be as functional as possible, but at the end of the day, brand is what's going to have a force multiplier effect over anything else.
Vaishnavi, you are about to know.
So there's this saying that says your best known always wins over the best product. And I think that's where brand identity comes into place because everyone can create a product. Your product probably might be the best in the market. But like when you ask for a plastic bottle, like bottle of water, you don't say Aquafina, you say Bisleri. That's what brand identity is. And I think it's super important because without a USP, you don't really have anything that differentiates you in the market. And it's really important for you to have that in order to stand out in the crowd. And with brands like us, I think all of us are doing something which is on the lines of high fashion but blending it a little bit modern day utility. And everyone comes with their own set of identity, either it's something that's personal to them or it's them in their brand. So people buy you, people don't buy your brand. That's what brand identity is.
Kuship, Urvash, what about you guys?
So for us, I think for the longest time, we believe that our products will do all the talking and we are still a product first brand now. To prove that brand identity is something that's important, we've taken off branding completely of our products, trying to prove that even without branding, your brand can be seen. And like constantly making pieces in a particular design sensibility, I think people can just be educated by that.
Yeah, like you see your piece and you know which brand it's from.
Yeah, that would be the biggest picture for us, I think.
Also, we're moving to quiet luxuries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it has always been we would take something which is based out on textures. If we don't buy textures, we try to build our own textures. We're doing whatever surface ornamentation that we can do. So there's always been that. Rather than using branding, we always have focused on something as in like an add-on that you can provide apart from branding.
Okay, so I'll move on. So streetwear often draws these influences from diverse cultures. And how do you incorporate your own personal experiences and backgrounds into design? Actually, you already told us a little bit about how your brand is so heavily inspired by you and your personal stories. So could you tell me a little more?
So there's this product in my brand, it's called the Lost My Shit pants. And a lot of people ask me about, oh, how did you come up with these? So these pants have 12 pockets. And me as a person, I'm completely unorganized. I forget my things everywhere. I do not like carrying a bag. I have one now because it goes with my outfit. It has no use apart from that. So when I came with this product, my whole thing was, okay, me on the pants is what I need to create. Before that, every collection I've done is either inspired by Mumbai auto rickshaws. I've done Mumbai local trains. So things that I see a lot. I've been born and brought up in Bombay. Everything that's happening around me kind of inspires me to create in a way which, when you look at the product at the end of it, you can't really point, okay, your auto jaisa lag raha hai. That's not what's happening. It gets like it's like in physical attributes of an auto rickshaw, like stuff like that, put into clothes in terms of detail or something of that sort. So I think me, like my personality or my state of mind at a current period is very, very reflective on what I'm creating at that point. So if I'm in a mess in my head, I have a lot of these thoughts going on, which is also something I do a lot because I'm confused at the time. So yeah, that's where that comes.
I love it. Anchit, what about you?
While building CGC, we were focused on telling our story in a way where people understand what we're trying to do because our brand name is kind of weird. That's why people call us JDC. So yeah, with that, choosing the font, choosing the color, the asset line, we got registered. So and keeping that brand language intact and the brand guidelines going on and being consistent with it. That's a key to for the consumer and your fans to actually believe in your brand because what happens with young brands is that they keep changing their logos, they keep changing their brand colors, and they keep, every day is a new design coming in your head and then you create something new. So I think consistency is the key there, where you need to believe in something first in a very serious way because you are going to get married to that logo and that design language for the coming at least 3 to 5 years. And if you believe in it, then I think you should go all out and get because in reality, when you go into production with making a T-shirt or any apparel, there are other
factors also in play, which are your handbags and your trims and other things. And to get that quality out, you need MOQs, and to be sure about your logo MOQs, you need to be, aligned with your thoughts and very confident in what you're choosing, and you truly believe in it, and you want to stick by it for the coming 5 years, and then maybe evolve with it. So yeah, that's it. I eventually forgot the question. Okay, so.
Dhruv, how do you do that with all your stores? How do you bring your own personal experiences and your storytelling to it?
I steal a lot. Like I steal ideas a lot. I steal things and references a lot. I'm fairly shameless about it. I think there's a jacquard fabric that Almost Gods is known by. I stole it from my grandmom's living room. This room, I'm just keep looking at this room because I love the scale of it. So something like that is a reference that gets stuck in my head, and I'm like, oh, that's exciting. Like even an empty space like this can denote so much. Um, yeah, man. I think I'm constantly looking at things and just like picking up ideas and taking photos and notes and just like putting it together. And it's always fun to make the unexpected connection. So it's that's why they say like read 3 books at a time because you'll connect things that you would have never connected before. So it's yeah.
Urvash Kuship, what about you guys?
So for us, we come from a family background who's been into textiles for 20 years. Funnily, something that I'm wearing today, right now, my father used to make, I think, 15 years back, a similar pattern, linens with embroideries on top of it. So I think it's a full circle moment for us where, we also believe in classics and vintage and like getting inspirations from the past and like whenever I think you've developed enough, I think is the time when you have to go back into time and like start something, I think reinvent something to get, I think the modernization going, you have to look back at the past and like give it a little twist. I think that's the thing for me.
Do you have anything to add?
I think he's pretty much said everything that I was supposed to.
So, with that, we have our final question. How do you define meaning in your craft, and how has this definition evolved over time?
I think it's the thing of like art, right? Like conceptual art. It's anything can be art, but everything is not art. So anything can be imbued with meaning that you choose to give meaning. Um, if I choose to look at an empty room with a staircase as having meaning, that's enough. And I think the things that I'm fascinated by, like that keeps changing. The goalposts keep changing of what I expect as output from my brand, from my team, from my collaborators. But yeah, man, anything can be art and anything can be imbued with a certain kind of meaning.
For me, I think so. I've learned to have kind of this eye for detail in a way that I look at anything around me and it's like this, extreme. Oh, this is aesthetic. Like my Instagram is like that. I need to like click pictures of everything around me, and I've been doing that for now 9 years. And I think with time, I've kind of understood that, art isn't necessarily something that looks clean. You can kind of derive art from like even a trash bag around you, and I've done that in ways. So I think meaning comes from how you relate with that thing. So in now, if I'm creating a collection, I have an inspiration for that collection. I'm going to use that in a way that, okay, whatever I look around me, if for example it's lines. Now these lines in my collection could be that, okay, it's a straight line, but for me that line could mean something like, okay, I'm on one path. Or like this collection is going to be around one category. So I think that's how I kind of derive meaning into it in my own personal ways here and there.
I see so much of that in your collections.
Thank you so much. I'm glad that's like validation for me. Thank you.
I'll give you some time to think about your answer, Anchit. Urvash and Kuship, what about you guys?
I think, it always has been in a way where you tweak in a particular thing about your particular outfit. And that 1% of that tweakiness in an outfit gets your entire collection out. So just based on that one particular thing, which you try to do it in like multiple variations in whatever collections that you're doing. So that has been working for us since a very long time.
I think for me, it's more about practicality. I feel clothes are like a part of your skin. So people are never going to stop wearing clothes. That's the force that drives me. always. And I think people will get bored at one point of wearing the same thing, so they will have to come and evolve. So I think consistency is coming from here, and I feel that this gave me the confidence to start a clothing brand that people are never going to stop wearing clothes. So this is a field where you can't fail.
There's no scope because we're always buying clothes, and also I think we're in a time and era where we're also aspirational, right? We all have those little memories from our childhood where we've saved up to buy like something really expensive.
So, in reality, meaning is like when you're creating your art and you're converting it into sales. That's what a brand eventually does. And sales obviously gives you revenues and cash in the bank, but what it gives you most importantly as an artist is validation and the confidence to keep creating more and keep believing in yourself. So I think in reality, however nonchalant it may sound, conversion and sales is what gives you the real meaning to any artist.
So my question is, when I work on collections, so like you said, so excuse me. So sometimes the inspiration can be like a story or like a feeling, like let's say depression. So like if you start with it, then how do you like convert that into a collection?
So when you're, I think, dealing with an emotion, for example, now you're feeling sad. It depends on what is sadness for you, right? Now, for you, sad might be an ice cream falling. You can just derive that into a collection where you have a T-shirt with an ice cream fallen on the floor as a graphic on it. So I think the emotion you derive around it and how you create that in the end is personal to you. It's not something everyone's going to understand, and that's what it is about art, right? It's more about perspective.